All right, I think we're good to go. Welcome back to Shots Fired, the Columbus Hotshots podcast. Today we're going to preview National Pickleball League weekend number 2 in Boca Raton, Florida. I'm Jeff McKnight, and once again, I'm joined by the Dean of Senior Pickleball, Michael Sliwa. Sleeves, you've been a busy traveling man. What's going on? What have you done since the last time we've seen you?
Yeah, I spent the last weekend in June out in a tournament in Vero Beach, Florida, on the Atlantic coast, and it was basically put on by Bread and Butter Pickleball Company, and they brought out really 28 influencers, 28 people who review paddles, and for the Battle of the Nerds, they called it the Nerdy Tourney, so because we're all such paddle nerds. And so we did that for the weekend, and I got paired with Isaac Olson from Pickleball Studio. And we finished, I think, somewhere in the middle. I think there were 14 teams. I'd say we finished somewhere, 5 or 6, 7, somewhere in there. We lost in the quarterfinals and had a great time. And then I made my way down to Boca and actually, kind of headed out, hung out a little bit with Rick from Boca Surge ownership team and got to hit a ball around with him and obviously Carl, who used to be involved with Boca, and then headed up to Tampa with my visitor role roommate, and then a couple days in New Orleans and on our way back. So yeah, been pretty busy, but good to be home, but headed out soon as well. So
Hey, great. Yeah, it sounds like a busy time. I kept up with you on social media. I saw you, with Rick. So that looked like a great time. I'm sure that was a fun trip. So I'm
yeah,
sure it
absolutely.
sounds like you represented yourself well in that tournament too. So good job.
Yeah, I didn't get hurt. That's the goal number one. I didn't get body bagged and I didn't get hurt. I was the oldest guy by 16 years. So
Oh, excellent. Great job. Let's get into weekend number 2. So,
yeah.
for you folks at home to see the weekend number 2 schedule and current NPL standings, go to pickleballteamleagues.com and click on NPL. That's where you find all the latest standings, all the schedule, stats, and everything else. So, pickleballteamleagues.com. And NPL just announced a sponsorship slash media deal with Selkirk. So NPL is using the Selkirk ball
Yeah.
this year and their 1 year no crack warranty. And that means all NPL matches will be live streamed on the Selkirk TV app, Selkirk TV YouTube channels, NPL YouTube channels. So there's a ton of different ways for people to watch NPL this year. And Sleeves, I think that Selkirk exposure will really bring a broader audience to the NPL and see some of the stars.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Selkirk is one of the big names in pickleball, and they're actually our title sponsor for our pickleball cruises as well. So, great job getting Selkirk involved in NPL. It's only going to help the brand.
Yeah, I agree completely. Okay, so this upcoming weekend, June 21st and 22nd, has 6 teams playing in Boca Raton, Florida. They're Austin, Boca, Columbus, Naples, Oklahoma City, and Princeton. Now, it's funny, Columbus is tied for second in the NPL with a 3-1 record, but the other 5 teams playing in Boca are the bottom 5 teams in the NPL standings, with Austin McKnight being the only team with at least 2 other wins. So the way the league set it up, this is a lot of trial things with the league this year. This is one. We've got half the leagues playing on this weekend coming up, and the other half of the leagues playing the next weekend in Denver. So it gives the opportunity for all of NPL to watch the other, where a lot of times you're busy and kind of focused on your own team. Now teams can be at home and watch what the other half of the league is doing and watch these games streaming. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It should be a lot of fun, and some of these teams got to get going because if you want a high seed and you want to get a bye in the playoffs, now's the time to kind of get going. Obviously, Boca really needs to start stepping up, being at home.
I agree. Yeah, this weekend number 2, it's only second weekend, so it feels like the league's just getting started in some ways, but it's very critical. There's, like you said, top 4 teams make in the regular season get a first round bye in the playoffs, so they're already guaranteed a spot in the quarterfinals of the playoffs. So you can't start out bad the first 2 weeks in a row and then you find yourself a big hole that you have to climb out of. So this is a critical for a lot of teams, especially the teams playing in Boca. So there should be a lot of excitement. There should be a lot of teams fighting for, I won't say their playoff lives because it's a long season, but it's critical. Every match in the NPL is critical.
Right, absolutely. And via my power rankings, y'all have a little bit of a target on your back for that. And obviously, all these teams really need to get going. Like I mentioned earlier, you've got some wins under your belt, so everybody's going to be coming at you.
Yep, we feel the pressure. Is there anything you mentioned, Boca? Is there anything else specific that you're looking forward to? I've kind of got some top matchups for each section of the schedule, but is there anything that really stands out to you right off the bat?
No, I just think what I'm actually sort of looking forward to, because this is week 2, and some of the teams like Boca was missing some people obviously week 1, which hurt them, and they'll have some of their heavies back, so to speak. And I look to kind of as the season goes for teams that they're top tier players to start imposing their will a little more and kind of providing leadership for the team. And we'll see what Boca can do, because some of these folks have not been to week 1, so they may have some at-home jitters, a little bit of pressure on them to kind of get going because they've fallen behind the curve a little bit. So I'm interested to see kind of what happens to all of these teams now that we're in week 2 and maybe kind of get into a little bit of a groove.
Yeah, you bring up a great point about playing at home, because we didn't, it's the third year for the NPL, and a lot of players haven't experienced that playing at home. So, Boca does, and Denver the following weekend, have some additional pressure with playing at home. A lot of times you're playing really just in front of your teammates, but now you're at home. You got a lot of family and friends showing up. Even people that you normally play with on a regular basis, they're coming out to watch you play against professionals, and that's just an extra added pressure.
Oh,
Plus,
yeah.
you're doing a lot more talking, doing a lot more socializing, setting up different things. So it's a different level at home, but it's great to have the home crowd support this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And when people are around your court and you can feel their eyes on you, and then obviously your own expectations about playing in front of a home crowd, or just an opponent's team that's sitting on the other sideline in front of you, it's a little different than obviously just playing in a tournament, because all eyes from all the other teams are on you as well.
All right, I want to talk about some of the top matchups. So this is a week 2 preview. So why don't we go through on Saturday morning? There's a great matchup. Saturday morning, I've got Naples versus Princeton. And what we're looking at there, we got Jaime Onsens and Mary Helen Atkins versus Jose DeRisi and Sherry Corder in Pod 1 mixed. Jaime and Mary Helen are 4-0 this season, and Jose and Sherry are 3-1. So if you like mixed doubles, which I do, this doesn't get much better than this right off the bat Saturday morning.
Yeah, I mean, you got the South American countries going at each other, some serious intensity on the men's side, and really, really gritty on the women's side. Women that are used to winning as well, a lot.
Then we move on to Saturday afternoon. Something that jumps out to me is the Battle of the Sunshine State. We've got Boca versus Naples. So Boca won the championship last season, and Naples finished winless in the regular season. So Naples will have a chip on their shoulder to prove that they've improved. So what do you think, Sleeves? Who do you think will come out on top of the Battle of the Sunshine State?
Well, I know just from a little past experience of being at some of these events, that matchup means a little more to those two teams, obviously, because there's a little trash talking and a little rivalry going on. So, between Bob and Rick, and it'll be fascinating. It's interesting to see if they have like a little side bet going, and what that means for each of these guys. But always entertaining to watch the in-state teams, just because they're so familiar with each other in proximity as well. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of great players on both of those teams. Also, Saturday afternoon, we have Austin against Oklahoma City. Both tough teams. OKC went 0-4 after weekend 1, and I hate to say, you hate to say this is a must-win game for Oklahoma City, but it's really they've got a really strong team. We both thought so at the beginning. And so there's definitely pressure on OKC, not necessarily this matchup, but to get themselves going in weekend number 2, or else they'll find themselves in a big hole they'll have to dig out of the rest of the season.
Yeah, and going against a team like Austin, who's generally been a pretty consistent franchise, is no easy order. looking to see what Carol and Mark can do to rally the troops.
That's right. All right, so that wraps up Saturday. So Sunday morning, one matchup I'm definitely going to keep an eye on is Princeton versus Boca. And Sleeves, you mentioned this earlier. Boca's Pod 1 women, Audra Spielberger and Taylor were both missing weekend one. So that's their Pod 1 women. So this will be their 2025 debut at home. I'm sure they'll be excited, ready to go. And what a team they'll have to face. They'll have to face Sherry Corder and Spencer Mormon, who are undefeated team this season. So if you like women's doubles like I do, this will be a can't miss match Sunday morning in Boca, Princeton versus Boca.
Yeah, we'll see what the nerves are on the Boca side, and what Taylor, she's gritty, so I'm interested to see what she can do against that team, which is obviously out of the gate, as expected to be really tough in ours. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it'll be interesting matchup, and I think we'll show what each team how they will look towards the rest of the season. Also Saturday is Austin versus Columbus in a rematch from weekend one, where Austin gave the Hotshots the only defeat of the season so far. So I know that there's going to be a lot of Columbus Hotshots players that are looking for a little bit of revenge. So we'll have to see how that matchup goes as well.
Yeah, we'll have to see how y'all handle the humidity. I was just down there, and it was humid, man. It rained the whole time. So, yeah, and Austin's probably a little more used to some of the humidity than y'all, but we'll see. Obviously, you're the hot shots, so it should be an interesting matchup for sure. And yeah, a little bit of revenge on the side of obviously your squad. So, but again, a very consistent franchise over the first two seasons for Austin. So, no easy task for y'all.
And then we wind up Sunday afternoon with a rematch of the 2024 championship, Boca versus Columbus. So Boca Surge versus America's team, Columbus Hotshots. So last year, Columbus won both the regular season matchups, but Boca won when it mattered the most. They came out and won the championship. They started out, they beat the Columbus team 8-4, but it was really 8-2. They pretty much put the foot on the gas and didn't let up. So Boca handled Columbus pretty handily in the championship last year. And Boca has 10 returning players from the 2024 championship team, and Columbus has 9 returning players from the runner-up team last year. So a lot of familiar faces, a lot of familiar pickleball against each other. To me, it might be a marquee matchup for the whole weekend. Sunday afternoon, everyone's tired. It's going to be, who's healthy, who's ready to go, and who wants it most. So I'm looking forward to that matchup as well. We'll see who comes out on top.
Yeah, I mean, this is a psychological thing because, as you learned last year, it's hard to beat a team 3 straight, anybody. And so the psychological of the regular season and how that ultimately plays out, and then you get to the playoffs and you face a team like that who you've either been beaten by or you've beaten, and the psychology behind that. And that's why we play the regular season too. It's not for just wins and losses. It's sort of this emotional roller coaster, and it's building confidence. So I'm interested to see kind of, Boca trying to bounce back, and obviously y'all trying to hang on to that #1 spot in the power rankings. So we'll see what happens. It should be fun.
Yeah, should be a great weekend. I hope everyone gets a chance to tune in, either Selkirk YouTube or NPL YouTube. It should be a lot of fun. Sleeves, the 6 teams playing in Boca weekend 2. Do you have a prediction for which team will win the weekend, win the big money, win the big pot of gold at the end when last man standing Sunday afternoon in Boca for weekend number 2?
Yeah, I think this is really, for me, it's a toss-up between Columbus and Boca, but the wild card sort of being Austin. So I think, it could go either direction, but I'm going to look for the defending champs to kind of impose their will at home a little bit and really put themselves back in the mix. So I'm going with the Surge to win the weekend.
Okay. They have the heart of the champion, so that's doesn't sound like a bad prediction. I'm going to hold off on predicting since we're playing this weekend, but I will do a prediction for next weekend in Denver since we won't be there. So on the next episode of Shots Fired, We'll feature weekend number 2 Boca recap, and then we'll do a weekend number 2 Denver preview. So I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a quick turnaround. Things get moving pretty fast. 2 weeks after Denver, there'll be is weekend number 3 for the NPL. So a lot of activity here in the next 5 weeks or so. So, Sleeves, I appreciate you coming on today. I want to tell everyone to go watch the hit movie Dream Breaker, a pickleball story featuring you as the narrator. It's available streaming now on HBO Max. You said soon to be streaming on the Roku app. Is that correct?
That is correct. It should be, I would think, any day now.
Oh, great. I like Roku. I've had Roku for a long time.
Yeah.
And subscribe to the popular podcast, Sleeves Senior Pickleball Report. If you enjoyed this episode of Shots Fired, please like and subscribe on YouTube. It's all free, so just give us a click. Sleeves, anything else you want to mention today?
No, I think what is going to be fascinating to watch as the season goes, because this is the first year we've had split sessions, is there advantage to knowing what happened if you're playing in the weekend after? And to see those statistics as, the season ends and look back, like, was there a distinct advantage to maybe playing a weekend prior or knowing the results of the weekend before you? That should be fascinating to look at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, great point. Well, I know you're a busy man. You're heading out this weekend here in a couple of days, right? What do you have going on?
Yeah, I'm hosting our first pickleball cruise. I'm working with Daily Travels out of Florida, and we are doing a cruise from Los Angeles to Ensenada. Our first pickleball cruise, kind of our pilot. There are 3 indoor courts. Former NPL player Paul Zickert's going to do some instruction on the boat for us, and should be some footage of kind of how it goes, and hopefully getting teams like yourself and some clubs and some coaches involved for doing some pickleball cruises to destinations all over the globe through Royal Caribbean. So that's kind of what I'm going to do this coming weekend. My first cruise, so I'm excited.
Oh, your first cruise, great. Yeah, you'll have a lot of fun. You have to show them all, keep you up your winning pickleball ways.
That's right, man.
All right. Well, thanks, buddy. Have a good time on your cruise, and we'll catch you in about a week or so. And thanks again, everybody, for joining us, and we'll see you on the courts.
Woo!
Hey, just a quick cut in to introduce this week's Hotshots Player Spotlight is Jim Brownson. Jim's in the second year on the Hotshots. Now, last season, he had an impressive record of 27 wins and 15 losses for a 65% winning percentage. Jim is sponsored by 20x44 Life Paddles. Now, before pickleball, Jim was a pro-level racquetball player, grandmaster handgun shooter, and motocross racer. Jim lives in Toledo with his wonderful wife, Brenda. They have 2 kids, Ashley and Michael, and 3 grandkids, Emmy, Leo, and the latest addition is 4-month-old Owen. Jim was also the winner of the very prestigious first annual Columbus Hotshots Super Saturday Showcase, where the top players from across the Midwest come together on Super Bowl Saturday and play in a tournament for a big cash prize and free entry into the National Pickleball League Scouting Combine. Congrats, Jim, and welcome back to the Hotshots. Hey, quick cut in to thank today's episode sponsor, Great Lakes Hyundai of Dublin and Great Lakes Hyundai of Columbus. If you're in the Columbus or Cleveland area or want to shop for a new Hyundai or pre-owned vehicle online, visit our great friends at Great Lakes Auto Group. Hey, also a quick reminder that the National Pickleball League is sponsored by QC Kinetics, the leading clinic for non-surgical therapy for joint pain, muscle pain, and sports-related injuries. QC Kinetics has offices throughout the nation, so schedule your free evaluation today and tell them you were sent by the Hotshots.